Hi, and welcome to this edition of Yuno and Kenzo Koga. I'm Kenzo Koga. Today, I want to follow up on our recent episode Buddhism and Quantum Physics. Are they saying the same thing about reality? And take you on a slightly unusual journey, a bridge between the ancient and the cutting edge, between inner stillness and particle accelerators. We'll explore a conversation that's quietly unfolding between Buddhist philosophy, especially its teachings on emptiness and interdependence, and quantum physics, which seeks to understand the most fundamental aspects of the universe. At first glance, these seem like entirely different worlds. One is rooted in contemplative practice and the liberation of the mind, the other in laboratories and mathematical equations. But what if they are revealing similar truths from opposite ends? Let us begin with one of the most well-known phrases in Buddhist thought: form is emptiness, and emptiness is form. This expression points to the idea that what appears to be solid and permanent, our bodies, objects, even our identities, are not self-contained or independently existing. They exist because of everything else. Their essence is relational. Now compare this with quantum physics. Subatomic particles, like electrons or photons, are not tiny solid balls. They exist in what's called a superposition, multiple potential states at once. They behave like waves of possibility rather than fixed points. It is only when we observe them that they seem to collapse into a particular state. In other words, what we experience as solid matter is actually a dance of probabilities. What becomes real depends on how we engage with it. That might sound a lot like form is emptiness. This brings us to another curious overlap: the role of the observer. In quantum physics, the act of observation doesn't just record what's there. It influences it, it shapes it. Reality, in a very real sense, emerges in relationship to our attention. In Buddhism, there's a related idea that our experience of the world is shaped by our perception. Our senses, thoughts, and emotions don't just receive reality, they co-create it. The mind isn't a passive screen. It's active, filtering, interpreting, and constantly influencing how the world appears. In both views, then, awareness plays a central role in shaping reality, not as an illusion but as a participatory force. Let's go further. One of the most puzzling ideas in quantum mechanics is non-locality. It means two particles can be linked across vast distances, so that changing one affects the other instantly, regardless of space or time. That challenges our basic assumptions about separateness, and yet Buddhism has long emphasized that nothing exists in isolation. Everything arises because of other things. Every thought, every experience, every event is connected to countless causes and conditions. This is not poetry. It's a deep observation about how the world works. So both perspectives, science and contemplation, point to the same conclusion. Nothing stands alone. Reality is not made of things, but relationships, not fixed entities, but dynamic interactions. One more misunderstanding we should clear up. The word emptiness in Buddhism doesn't mean nothingness. It means things lack an independent, unchanging core. Emptiness is full of potential, the openness that allows for change, growth, and connection. Quantum physics offers a similar insight with the concept of the quantum vacuum. Even what we think of as empty space is not truly empty. It's filled with potential energy and constant fluctuations, a hum of possibility from which particles emerge. So, in both systems, what looks like stillness is actually alive with movement and potential, which brings us to the human question: what does all this mean for how we live? In Buddhism, awareness is transformative. When you become aware of your thoughts, feelings, and sensations without clinging to them or pushing them away, something shifts. You start to see clearly, and that clarity brings freedom. In quantum physics, observation shapes outcome. It suggests that attention matters, that our very presence has an effect. This leads to a powerful insight. We are not separate from the world. We are part of its unfolding. We influence it not by controlling it, but by how we show up in it. So, what happens if we live from that understanding? If we relate to reality not as a set of fixed problems to be solved, but as an interconnected process to be engaged with, perhaps we listen more deeply, react less, stay curious, appreciate the in between. Neither Buddhism nor quantum physics claims to have all the answers, but both invite us to look again, to question our assumptions, to stay open. And in doing so, they may guide us not only toward understanding the universe, but toward understanding ourselves. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next episode.